Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. Goldbridge on tour with the morning show. Hope we're doing well and we're going to fly straight into it. We've got some interesting updates this morning because there's one on Nkunku, also a little bit around Rangnick and a few other players. But I want to start off talking to you about not Ralph Rangnick. I want to speak to you about Frankie de Jong to start off with actually, because I think it's quite interesting in relation to Frankie de Jong that last night he played for the Netherlands and dropped a transfer hint to us in all purpose. He basically said that the way that he played last night for the Netherlands, he prefers that to the way that he plays with Barcelona. If anybody watched the game with the Netherlands last night, he was basically playing as the pivot, the guy who took the ball off the back four. And this sent a lot of United fans into meltdown because they were like, oh my God, he can play as a CDM. We've had it for the last couple of weeks with United fans going, he's not a CDM, he's not a CDM. He's not a CDM. I mean, basically, Ten Hag has said this on a couple of occasions. He said, you waste Frankie de Jong as a CDM. But we'll come to that in a minute. Let's deal with the actual transfer hint. I personally think this is Frankie de Jong acknowledging the comments yesterday that came out about Xavi. He's had a chat with him and said that, look, the club's probably wanting to sell you for economic reasons. And they've also said that they're not totally happy with your performances. I think Frankie de Jong has taken that to heart and used the game yesterday after match to say, look, I preferred how I play for the national team than I do for Barcelona, basically, which is an odd thing to say for a player that wants to stay at Barcelona. And I think the reason he's doing that is it's typical human behaviour. He feels that he's been mistreated by Barcelona. They've not really publicly fought to keep him. He'll be fully aware that even if he wants to stay at Barcelona, 100% they're having chats with us about selling him. So that's going to make him feel a bit resentful. And I think he dropped a transfer hint yesterday. And I think we're moving closer and closer towards Frankie de Jong leaving Barcelona as he comes to realise it's like the 7 stages of separation, isn't it? Denial. I think he's in acceptance at the moment that they are trying to get rid of him and he's got to start to deal with that, whether he wants to stay there or not. So I think that there was a big transfer hint dropped by Frankie de Jong yesterday and he played very well. He got an assist, he played very well. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I think in relation to him coming to Manchester United, he certainly did drop a big transfer hint because it was a public direct sort of response to Barcelona that I prefer playing for the national team, and we've referred to that with some of our England players. Luke Shaw did it in March and other England players have done it, and it just shows you that something's wrong. Something is wrong. The interesting thing for me is that I think that this deal is there to be done. I stand by what I said yesterday. We've got him if we want him. We've just got to persuade him. But I think that in relation to de Jong, when you look at it, that transfer hint has been dropped. The words are out there that he prefers playing that position. Now, what I want to talk about is the position, because everybody's now talking about Frankie de Jong being the holding midfielder for Manchester United. And I think that in my lifetime, the midfield situation at Manchester United and in general football has changed massively. You've gone from 4-4-2s where your 2 midfielders are basically 6, 8 and 10s. They're box to box. They defend. They run the midfield, they support the attack. That's changed massively. It sort of changed in the early noughties. Sir Alex Ferguson was a big advocate of spotting it in Europe and using it in the Premier League and going to a midfield 3. And you can play a midfield 3 in many ways. You can have 1 holding midfielder, 1 box to box and 1 more attacking. You can have 2 holding midfielders, 1 more attacking. You can have 2 8s and 1 more attacking, 2 8s, 1 with more defensive responsibility. There's lots of things you can do with a midfield 3, but most people will play with a midfield 3. This is what Manchester United have done for the last few years, but we've tended to play with the CDM, the one player who takes the ball off the back four and supports and shields the back four. This, to me, is sort of what Frankie de Jong did yesterday, but would not work at Manchester United. So I think anybody who is thinking, oh, this is how we're going to use Frankie de Jong, I don't think that's how we're going to use Frankie de Jong. Eric Ten Hag, in his own words, in an interview a couple of years ago, I think it was, says Frankie de Jong is wasted as a number 6. I think also he commented on when he first went to Barcelona that they used him as a more attacking player. And Ten Hag also commented on that and said, look, de Jong is not the assister, he's the pass before the assist. And I think that's probably the best short description of what Frankie de Jong is. And I think what Ten Hag was trying to say in many interviews he's given about de Jong post him leaving Ajax and observing what he's doing at Barcelona is that to get the best out of Frankie de Jong, you can't limit him as a CDM, because if you limit him as a CDM, you lose what he can do in the opposition's half. I personally feel that Frankie de Jong has obviously commented and said he likes to take the ball off the back four, and I think some people have interpreted that he wants to be a CDM. Could he do what Michael Carrick did for years? Michael Carrick wasn't a great tackler. He just read the game fantastically well and was superb on the ball. Frankie de Jong could make a career out of that, and he could be one of the best holding midfielders in the world. But I also think that he would massively limit what he's all about as a footballer if he just stayed that. And I think what we'll see with Frankie de Jong, if he becomes a Manchester United player, is a player that would play in a midfield two. We will play a midfield two under Erik ten Hag. Now, whether Frankie on occasion takes more defensive responsibility, maybe he does. But the brilliance of playing a midfield two with an attacking midfielder in front of them is that if Frankie de Jong does want to take the ball off the back four, there'll be times in the game where he can move into the attack phase as well, because he does a lot of good work in the attack phase. And what I mean is the attack phase. I think your own half is the defence phase, and the opposition's half is the attack phase, because that's where you score. But you can defend in the attack phase. You can defend high up. You can press, and Frankie can do that. He can make very important passes into the penalty box. So I think it's a half and half scarf in a way, isn't it? Nah, it's not a half and half scarf. No one likes that. But I think with Frankie de Jong, what you want to do is you want to get the best out of him defensively, but you want to get the best out of him offensively. And to do that, you've got to play him in a midfield too, with licence to move forward as part of the press will. And also, we won't play a CDM. For anybody who's going, no, he's got to be a CDM. Again, I've said this so many times, I think people are thinking about this deep defensive line where you play a holding midfielder who drops in between the centre-backs and shields them. Remember, we're going to play a much higher line. So even if he is the one taking the ball off the back four, most of the time we're going to be playing a high line with high possession in the opposition's half. So yeah, I think ultimately, I think it's good that a lot of United fans sort of watched him last night and realised what a quality player he is, because I think he'd bring a lot to United. And I think, as I said, the hint is there from him and Barcelona, and United just need to get this deal done. And you're starting to get... I'm not taking a lot... I've got to be honest, in relation to the transfers, I'm not taking a lot of notice around de Jong at the moment, because you're getting people who are not transfer journalists going, this deal's really close, because they just want notoriety. You're not transfer journalists. Stop stating what people have been stating for the last 3 weeks. I've seen 2 or 3 people who are not transfer journalists basically write things like, Man United and Barcelona are deep into negotiation for Frankie de Jong. There's still work to do on the deal, but United are very confident. And people are retweeting it like it's some sort of breaking news. It's like, have we not been talking about this for about 3 or 4 weeks now? So I think ultimately United and Barcelona are discussing the fee, and I think de Jong is becoming more accepting that he's going to be leaving, and United need to negotiate, and that's what it's about. I said it yesterday, this is now about Manchester United and negotiating. In relation to other deals, Timber did play yesterday for the Netherlands, and I think with Timber, I'm looking at early next week. What happens early next week? It's a bank holiday weekend. It is the weekend. You can do business over the weekend, and things could happen very quickly. All right, the transfer window opens up just under a week on Friday. It opens, doesn't it? So, and the internationals have got another week and a half to go. Do I think we're going to wait till the internationals are over? No. I'd say watch this space on Timber, and ultimately Timber, Nunez, de Jong, they're all on international duty, but they're not under lock and key. When they're not playing games, they can be speaking to their agent. Their agent is not on international duty. It's not like Frankie de Jong's agent's playing up front for the Netherlands. He's out there doing work. So we can do work, and I think we are doing work. And I think we're into a very interesting phase on those transfers. Be interesting to see who happens first. I think de Jong is the most important deal to happen first, because it's the most precarious. But Timber, you need to keep going for. And as I said, I'm encouraged that United are working on more than one deal at once. There was a story about Nkunku coming out of Bild that United might try to do a deal like Keita for Liverpool, where you buy them one summer, but you don't get them till the summer after. I think this is highly speculative, really. It might work for Leipzig, but they want him on a new deal so they can get more money out of the release clause. I don't see Nkunku happening anymore now that Ranić has left, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. My tea's going cold. Austria beat Croatia away from home 3-0 last night. Didn't watch the game, but, nothing to say on that. Nothing to say on that. I'm not going to be the guy who says Ranić's a great coach because he's beat Croatia away 3-0 with Austria, but I didn't watch the game. Maybe those players responded to him better than Man United players. It's not an easy result to go and win 3-0 against Croatia, to be fair. But international football is different from club football. I think the truth with Ranjik, and I don't want to spend much time on this, is that I wanted him to stay to be part of the transfer rebuild. That's where his strength is. Got a lift there. And United, I think, have wasted an opportunity there. I also don't think he's as bad a coach as some of the media want to make out. And I don't think he's as good a coach as we wanted him to be. But, he's not dreadful. He's not dreadful. Which also, another controversial topic. Player of the Year is going to be out today. We expect that to be Ronaldo. But Players' Player of the Year came out yesterday, David De Gea. I think that's the right decision. I think the players should be voting David De Gea, because if I'd been playing football for Manchester United this season, I think it would have been very obvious to me how big a role David De Gea played in that season. I know Ronaldo scored the goals, but as a player, you do notice your goalkeeper making save after save after save. The goals are important, but and De Gea's played more games. Should Ronaldo have won it? Maybe he should have done. I thought the interesting thing was this was voted for by the players. Does that give an indication of the toxicity at the club that David De Gea wins it? David De Gea is well liked within that football club. He's been there for a long time. He's played with a lot of these players for a few years. He's very popular. Ronaldo, as we've heard, is not particularly that popular with some players, and maybe it's a popularity contest. The reason I bring it up is that I don't mind De Gea winning it, but I wouldn't have minded Ronaldo winning it. I think the public poll, which we're going to get today, I think Ronaldo will win it easily. But the player votes, I'm not surprised De Gea won it, but again, it just shows you that it's not the landslide that some fans think it should be, and actually, it demonstrate the problems in the dressing room? Remember, you're going to have a lot of players voting there that maybe take issue with Ronaldo. So I don't know about that one, but I thought it was worth a mention. And I think that he'll be voted as player of the. I mean, what does it matter? What does it matter ultimately? I mean, is it something that you're massively engaged in? Because I'm not. I'm really not. I think what I'm engaged in is this next season and this next few weeks and days as a Manchester United fan. We've got to get this right. And I think I'm getting to that point now where if I give my personal opinion on things, do you want a personal opinion? Do you? I'll give you a personal opinion. So now that we've spoken about the news, I feel that if we get De Jong and we get Timber, then that is a great start to our transfer window. I still would only give that a 7 out of 10 and we had a 7 out of 10 last year. I gave our transfer window a 7 out of 10 last year because although we got Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho, you've got to look at what's good for the team. If you've got 4 holes in your boat and it's sinking and you buy 2 of the best leak recovery kits in the world, but you've still got another leak, you're still going to sink. And I think Varane and Sancho and Ronaldo were brilliant recruitments, but we still left a massive hole and we still sunk. De Jong and Timber will obviously fill a couple of holes in our team, but we've still got another 2 or 3 holes. So it's what we do after De Jong and Timber if we get them. And I think, look, people will say that's very greedy. If we get De Jong and Timber, it's amazing. And it is amazing deals, but we are playing catch-up over 9 years. We're a long way behind. De Jong and Timber don't make us where we need to be. I think this summer needs to be 9 or 10 out of 10 for me. And I think Timber and De Jong would be a good start, a very good start. But I don't want to tempt fate because if we don't get them, I think if you don't get De Jong and Timber and you end up getting Neves and Carmo from Braga and Neves obviously from Wolves, that's not De Jong and Timber. So we've got to be grateful for what we're trying to do at the moment, but we can't be grateful till we actually get it. And I suppose, is there a sense of nervousness? Not really. I just think we've got to get these deals done. Really get these deals done. And I'm not saying go and get them done today. I'm saying, look, make sure you get these deals done. If it's going to take till the 20th of June, just make sure you get them done. Don't let them slip because Manchester United are under the microscope with the fans. I don't care about the media. I don't care about rival fans or anything like this. This is Manchester United Football Club showing to their fans and Erik ten Hag that they can deliver deals that the manager wants and the fans want, and that's where we're at with it. So, but look, on De Jong, this is moving very, very close to, being at a point where he's sort of in the 90% club. He's now dropping if you look at it logically, over the last 3 weeks, we've gone from this amazing story that United are going to get him to Barcelona in denial, to Barcelona accepting, to Barcelona in conversations with United, to De Jong not talking about it, not acknowledging it, talking about Barcelona being his dream club, to saying, I prefer playing for the Netherlands over Barcelona. So it's developing. I feel like the Emperor. Everything is developing as I have foreseen. Vader. Everything is developing as I have foreseen. Rubbish Emperor. But yeah, it's going well. It's going well. Let's see how it develops throughout the next while. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Just a little bit of an update on tour. Hope you're all doing well. Enjoying your weekend. And obviously, we've got plenty of content for you over the weekend. And I'll be popping in and out as well. So thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our members section. If you are a member, I released it yesterday. Ten Hag's Ajax compared to Liverpool's Klopp's Liverpool went up yesterday exclusively for the members. Check that out. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Take care.